Sunday. Instantly dated this video, so I'm sorry if you're watching this a few months on. But anyway, so I've had a bit of a hiatus. I've been recovering from something, so I'm back now. I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable to get back to it. So sorry for the little period between the videos. But anyway, we're back. Last episode we created this big distribution network for the fuel, for the oil, and for the to create plastics. I think that it's worked really well, and I'm in half a mind to, let's just turn the HUD elements back on. I'm in half a mind to hook up like the other fuel. Where is it? Here. Up with this distribution network. Maybe have a bridge coming over or something, but then that makes the ferries a little bit pointless. But hey ho, I think that's a long-term sort of goal. And I've been thinking about it for a little while. I think that this distribution network really works quite well. Before, I've sort of done things very much sort of on a case-by-case scenario, and I've done these other two fuel networks before like this. So I'm thinking if we had some sort of train network up and down that would eventually deposit all the oil, crude oil, fuel, and maybe even plastic down here. And then we can see how it goes. It works quite well here because we've got the factory that needs plastic right next to the plastic factory. So we haven't actually done it so that the plastic comes back and then gets distributed out, because it would be a pointless journey. I mean, it would make us money, but yeah. So I'm just trying to think of what we should do today. Right now, I'm really enjoying this whole distribution network, and I think what I might do is try and shore that up, make sure that everything's working well, and see how it goes. And to be honest, I might even think about distribution networks for other things, such as food and the other products that can be made, like bricks and tools and what have you. So that would be distribution networks for the wood, or the lumber, and then maybe even another distribution network for other things. It looks like we've got lots of machines here for this line, so why don't we put another train on it? In fact, it's been a little while since we've looked at this, so, well, I say a little while, it's not actually in the grand scheme of things. Let's just double check whether these trains are still the best they can be. So these are A35s, which, if I'm correct, are pretty decent. Yeah, they're the best we can get, so that's fine. We'll just put some more on that line. I'll just bump it up to 1 for now and see how it goes. We've even got a bit of oil up here, crude oil to oil. We could possibly do. Got another oil refinery there and there. The good thing about these is we can do a link between these oil refineries and the distribution hub down here. The problem is that the ratio is 2 crude oil to 1 oil. So we would need to deliver a full train and then another full train, which we could use these other oil wells around to fill up from, which would work quite well, and then drop off the second load. And then when we go back, we would be full on oil. So that could work really quite well. Just trying to think what should be next. It's a tricky one to try and think about. Did we get this plastic network going down here? So these haven't had anything delivered yet. And these are starting to take things down. It looks like the first lot of oil is coming down now to be delivered to this factory, this chemical plant, to turn it into plastic, which then will be used here to deliver plastic down to the goods factory, which will then create goods, and then we can distribute them out. Just trying to think where needs goods. This one needs goods, so Oaken Gates can benefit from having goods, and in fact we could probably use this distribution hub for that. Although, are all of these full? They are all full, so we're going to have to expand this probably before we can do that. Oh yeah, first plastic is produced. That's good. So that means that these down here are just waiting to pick up the, well, they'd be waiting here to pick up the goods and then come back. But obviously at the moment there isn't really anything to pick up because they've only got, this only has steel at the moment. It looks like there's a fair bit more steel to plastic, so it may be that we have to use both of these stops, because if they're just picking up either plastic or steel from one of them, then if this fills up with steel, then we're going to have no room for plastic. We're not going to be able to put any onto cars, and then that will have a knock-on effect with the goods, because only steel will be coming down here. So what we can do is put the plastics on one and the steel on the other, and do it as they pick up steel, they come down, they deliver steel, they maybe pick up goods, they take it back, and this time they pick up the plastic, they go back, they drop off the plastic, pick up the goods, and come back. And when they've come back, they go back to picking up the steel to begin with. So that might work. Oh, this is goods for Oaken Gates. Okay. How have I done this then? I'm picking it up and taking it here. Okay. But that doesn't have... Okay, so I'm just catching up with myself from a little while back, a few weeks back. So we've done a line to here for the goods, but we don't actually have a truck stop to take that into the city yet. For now, it doesn't really matter too much because we haven't even gotten any plastic down here. We haven't properly sorted this out. This can probably do with some more trucks because it's got to take both products down. It's currently got 10, so we'll bump that up to maybe 30. And that should hopefully get a bit more of a movement going here. I'm wondering whether if we did a truck stop here, it would connect up with this train station. And it would. That's interesting. Right, so we've got the first step of our distribution into Oaken Gates for the goods. So we've got the truck stop in there. So we're just setting up this truck stop here. And of course they're going to be unloading goods. Color-wise, I think they should be the same as the other goods lines. I'm not too sure whether that's the right color. It might be this one. We'll have to double check it in a second. What I'm going to do is write this out so that it's the right naming convention for this line. There we go. Okay, so the other ones are brown actually. But this one's light brown, so actually it's a different color. It seems to be just that one that's the wrong color, so we'll rectify that. bunch of fuel is leaving this stop. That's good. It's not full up, but you know, that's how these things go. Sometimes you just got to wait for them to catch up. Yeah, same problems here. How is this line doing? Oh, it's getting more now. That's on its way back. This time with 57 oil. That will equate to 57 plastics, which will hopefully bump it up closer to where it should be. But I am kind of thinking that we are going to have to swap these over so they're on the different terminals. I'm starting to think we need to separate these out. Here we have some oil that's been delivered. In fact, we've delivered a lot more fuel than this line can handle. How much does this have? 15, maybe bump it up to 20. See how that goes, because then hopefully this will trickle through. How's this doing? So at the moment they're just picking up whatever they can out of these two and dropping off goods. And then down here they're dropping off whatever they've got and picking up the goods. I kind of feel like maybe it's a ratio of 2 to 1, but looks like this is filled up. How's this doing down here? Still producing steel. In a lot of ways, it makes sense to distribute it out, so to have where it's produced, bring it to somewhere like here, and then all of those resources are pooled in one area, and they're distributed out based on what lines need them. The game does that automatically, and annoyingly there isn't really a way to control it that I know of. There may be a mod or something that allows you to say, okay, no, like up here with this with these machines, instead of it all going to this line, put a lot more on this other line or something like that. The thing is that eventually these cities are going to outgrow what this one factory can produce. I've set up that one factory to deliver to these three cities over here. But if I instead set it up to then deliver to a central distribution area, and then it goes out to each city after that, then we can set up more factories to deliver to that distribution network, and hopefully even out the spread of the goods. I've sort of done this a little bit before. I don't have an example of it really here, annoyingly. I was going to hook up this food factory with the food factory down here so that it would distribute out to these individual cities evenly, but I'm leaning more towards this central idea, because then it'll just deliver whatever food it has in the entire region can make to all of the cities that need it. It just is a lot of connections. I mean, we've already seen this here, and this is only part of our oil network, so to speak. We've got other oil over here. Where is it? Down here. And more fuel up here that's not even being connected up yet. But I think that doing that eventually should be a good thing, and that's something that this line can do, because at the moment this one isn't really being used. As you can see, it's only really got one that goes back and forth to Daventry, which isn't necessarily needed. Like, we could just do a truck from here down to Daventry, especially once the trucks start to get a bit bigger and a bit more, a bit faster in the later eras. But right now at 1900, where we're at this era, I think this delivers a big amount very quickly to where it needs to go, and it allows these to hopefully deliver out what they can pretty quickly. But yeah, it may be better to go the other way. I don't know, because this line probably doesn't make much money. No, not much. But yeah. So ideally, putting a central distribution area, I would imagine, would be best to put it somewhere in the middle of the region. But as we've seen from here, you need a fair bit of space to just map it all in. This has worked quite well because we've got the core, the main resources, so the crude oil, right nearby. Perhaps like over here would be a good little spot for it. We could have some going down, maybe even coming across this way and linking up, and then some going down this way, some coming up this way to feed up this way, and then also something to come across and feed these cities over here. But it's going to be a pretty tricky one to do, and that's something way down the line, I think, that's going to have to happen. Because having every single resource producing place, so in this case crude oil, feeding into one key area, and then it being distributed out to the converters, which is the oil refineries, and then it coming back to be then distributed out to the resource converters again, which are the I don't have one down here, do I? Plastic and fuel refineries or chemical plants. Then that's the best way to sort of distribute out the amount of product on each train, on each line. and then all of those products coming back to be then distributed out to every city. It's a Goliath task, and at the moment I don't think this quite is up to it. It's done quite a good job because, I mean, we've got quite a few cities around here that require these products. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 cities, but then we have a lot of production down here, so we have quite a bit of fuel, and a hell of a lot of crude oil and just general oil, so we may need to bump these lines up. But having them all connected, so these are connected together, it means that the products can interconnect and disperse evenly. And I'd quite like to do that at some point. I don't think it's quite there yet, so we won't do that yet. Right, how is this goods line doing? Have we actually delivered any goods? Ah, we are in an autosave, of course. There we go. This one's leaving with no goods as per the norm. Have we actually delivered any goods? So this lot's transported some, but I don't know whether it's actually transported. These are produced and shipped. Hold on. Do some of these have... I think some of these might have goods on them. Hold on, it'll be easier to look here. Oh, maybe not. Okay, they've got some plastics and some steel. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll split this up, because otherwise we'll end up filling this area and not have enough to deliver what we need to deliver. So we'll do that, and then back down here. And it may even be better to have a drop-off area. So a drop-off for the steel and plastics. So this one will be for steel. This one will be for plastic. So let's just double check. This is plastic. This is, sorry, that is steel. This is plastic. That works. Cool. I'm going to have it drop off whatever it can. In fact, it doesn't really matter if it's not having to stop, so that can go away. And now then this should move over. There we go, we're starting to see it happen. It's just taking its time. And now we will have one terminal for plastic, one terminal for steel, and that should work pretty well. We've just had a whole load of fuel delivered. So it's slightly moving over, albeit these are loading quite slowly. It's like they get there and then they just wait around for 5 minutes. This is their toilet and lunch break that they're doing. That must be what it is. There we go. There he goes. He's had his fill. Now his cargo's there, but obviously he's just, I don't know, having 5 minutes while everyone else has to wait. We haven't actually put any vehicles on this, which will affect the line. So we'll just buy some vehicles and put it on that line. There we go. So if you don't have vehicles on this part of the line, then it won't actually deliver any goods if it had goods, but I don't think it has any goods. Or it might be that these are produced, because it says that it's consumed 55 of this, but they're just nowhere to be seen. So maybe now they'll trickle into this. Who knows? I'm not too sure what's happened here. It's definitely delivering plastic and steel. It's just a case of we have more steel than plastic at the moment. And I'm hoping that it will pick up the goods after they're produced, because it looks like they've been produced. It's produced 55 and 10 this year, so 65 in total. But it's not shipped them anywhere. So they're just, I don't know, maybe they've just vanished. Maybe that's them. There's the steel. Is that the goods? Where's the goods? Come on, goods. Oh, hang on. It shipped something. It shipped 5. One of these should have 5 on them. Ah, that one has goods. Good. They're starting to move, which is exactly what we need. Um, hopefully this line will disperse out so it won't all be either here or here, or yeah, it won't all be at the same point. It'll stretch out and have a bit more flow. Which one had this goods? This one. Here we go, these goods are being delivered. So this is, I think this is the first lot. Yeah, this doesn't have goods on it, so I don't know which one it was. Was it this one? Maybe? Yeah, it must have been that one because it's now got goods. Okay, these are the first goods that are going to make their way back to Oaken Gates, which is really cool to see. The line is working, albeit a little bit slowly, but things should start to speed up now. Things are getting shipped. We've got 24 shipped, more waiting to go, so it's really cool. The only problem with doing it this way is that they're spreading it over the two, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. We still have one plastic on that other terminal, which is a bit annoying, but hopefully it will come across eventually, because at the moment it's just blocking the steel. I know we have a lot of capacity, so it's not really a big issue, and it should eventually move over, but for now it's just sitting there, sitting pretty, waiting for someone to pick it up. Hey, we've got 11 goods here now. That's so good, it's great. Although we do need 155 for this city. Okay, so that would be like, I can't even remember how many how many were there on here. 11. That's like 0.9%. So yeah, it's doing well. In fact, I don't even think it's 0.9. I think it's like 0.8 or 0.7. But that number's going to grow. When it gets to what, 16, it should be about 10%. I think. It's almost there. I mean, we could just do two separate lines, but this one line makes more use out of these same trucks, so it seems to be doing all right. I think it should be fine. Right, we're up to 25. I wish it would have like a timer to let you know how long it's going to be staying there till. Because at the moment I don't know. 25. So it's more like 1/6. These are quite busy actually. Let's bang a couple more on there. So that's a couple for each side. Hopefully that will help cope with these influxes. I think it's literally just when they get here they're full. Well, maybe not. Maybe. So that one only had 4 spots free for these 69 people, so yeah. Hey, the last of that plastic is off that other terminal. That's great. Okay, cool. It's just all slowly moving its way across, so this is I guess the slowest part of the link is that it's got to go from here over to here. It's a bit silly. There we go, the first shipment of goods is on its way to Oaken Gates. We should probably change the colour of this train actually. Quite a few of them aren't quite the right colour for the line. There we go. So it's pulling quite a good speed actually, 37 mile an hour up that hill. So up to 40 on a relatively flat section. 42, 43. It's just going to keep going. It's chug-a-luggin'. There we go, those are delivered now, and we have goods to deliver to Oaken Gates. So these trucks are going to slowly move these across. It may need more trucks. I don't know how quick we can produce these goods. I mean, we've already got like 20 odd waiting there, so I think it'd be a good idea to get these shifted. So I'm going to get a few more on here. Let's get, yeah, 15 I think should be a good number to actually take them into Oaken Gates. Because what we want to do is make sure that this is down to at least enough when the next shipment of 88 comes along, it doesn't overflow this truck stop by the time it's come back. So we need enough throughput to make sure that happens. That goods train is already back here. This is flowing really well. It's going to make a lot of money once it starts shifting. Okay, so this bit over here is plastic, this bit is steel. So these are going to be transporting over to Oaken Gates. I'm wondering whether it would be better to have a little train line to deliver all this oil. How are these doing? These are actually making a nice amount of money. They're about doubling their costs, so it's not doing badly. I mean, the demand's definitely there for these crude oils. Oh wow, they're only actually delivering about 60, 80, 60%. So maybe not. I don't know. Here we go. The army's turning up. The or the cavalry, sorry, of all these goods trucks. So they should be delivering to Oaken Gates momentarily. I'll bump that up to 5 minutes. Meanwhile, where's that other goods truck? Oh, it's almost full. Well, that's good timing, actually. And it looks like we might have the right amount of trucks for... Yeah, we do. That's really good. That's perfect, almost. So what ones of these are struggling? I mean, this one a little bit. I'm wondering whether they're all waiting on these trucks, you know? I'm gonna double it up. In fact, no, doubling up is a bit much. What I want this to go to is about 30. There we go. All of those are up to 30 now. Hopefully that will shift a lot more crude oil, get this transport number way up, and potentially even maximize it out. Because I mean, this one's only on 40, so this one could have been doubled, really. That's the problem. Just gotta turn them around. Maybe this needs to be longer. Oh no. Ah, there we go. Some of them are starting to make their way through. Doesn't seem right. There's carception, but hey ho. Oh dear. There we go. Now there should be enough flow, I would hope. There we go. In some ways, I feel like this is a good thing, but also a bad thing if I want to do the big distribution network eventually. I'm going to have to find some decent land for that. I originally thought here, because it's a central position, we can bring this line down to it and can use that bridge. Although, I don't know. I don't know whether this is a good idea because I think it's going to take up a lot more space than this. So it's going to make it difficult. The transport's going up on these, which is good. It should mean that things are not waiting quite as long. This could use another train. Yeah, this is the one that could use another train. Yeah, that needs another one because this is going to start to run out of space soon. What was this one for? That's for the plastic. What did we do down here? Did we separate these out, or are these just one? These are just one line, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. We might have to separate these out so that we've got separate lines coming down to these two. In which case we'll need more lines here to pick up from. There we go, that's starting to overflow now. We've got this one just turning up now. Why is it empty? Oh, this is one that I thought was on its way back. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. So this one has the oil coming back. But I mean, when this is fully laden, it's going 23, maybe 25 mile an hour, which is decent. I mean, it's only got to go down to here, so it's not too bad of a problem. What's crazy is that this is just for fuel and oil. So I don't know how I'm going to do it for everything. I might have to have separate ones for separate resource chains. So I mean, like logs and lumber and ore and coal and steel. I might have to do separate distribution networks for each one, but that in its own right could be pretty cool. Because this becomes the oil hub, the oil area. We've also got like clay and bricks, albeit clay and bricks don't necessarily need too much of it because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's quite simple of a line, but it would be good to distribute it out evenly across the different cities. It's just going to be a bit of a pain to hook up. I mean, we've already set something up down here which distributes to a few of the different cities, so it might be worth having something like over here, because I know that there's quite a few of these over here. The only other one is up here, but because those are 1-to-1 ratios, but they're going to be different trains, so we can't use the same trains to deliver the stone and the bricks. So that's going to be a bit of an issue there. I mean, that's the good thing about boats. Why I've been using boats, because boats can take a lot more. They're a lot more lenient on what they can hold. And similarly with fuel and oil. Fuel, oil, and crude oil, they all use the same container. They all use these. I wonder if I have some here. Yeah. They all use these boats, because these boats can only take crude oil or fuel. But because it's all the same on the same line, it just works a little bit better. Oh wow, that's a lot of goods. And I mean, you know, these are going to be making a lot of money because they're coming down from up here. Wow, these are pretty busy. I mean, if I connected up all the fuels, sorry, all of the oil to that oil line down here, then we're going to end up with things like this, where this fuel factory, I've even named it Glossop Fuel Ltd. I forgot I did that. Is just basically filling the needs of Glossop. So, I mean, what we could do is hook those up. This line down here, it wouldn't be too difficult to have a train line coming up and down here. But then, what do they do? Do they do they pick fuel up, deliver it down here, and then pick more fuel up and deliver it down here? Like, how would that work? I'm not too sure how that would work, especially where it's picking up from a factory. It might be better to have it all go from the factory to the distribution network and then back up, because it may be that it may produce 400, but Glossop only needs 300, so that excess 100 can be distributed out to these other cities. And I mean, because it's traveling so far as well, that should make a fair amount of money. But I don't know. I don't know whether that's a good move or not. How are these doing? Okay, their transport's way up, which is good. Albeit this one's still down. Maybe I should add another 10 onto this line. I don't know, it seems like they're still a little bit clumped up. Oh, they're waiting for this little truck to go. How are we doing with goods? Ah, 40%. That's good. And I mean the bricks, we've only done so many. We're only doing 50% of what the bricks are needed. Oh my goody aunt. Okay. Well, maybe setting up a bricks distribution network would be quite, I mean, somewhat simple, because if we did something over here, we've got how many brick? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brick factories, and 1, 2. I mean, there should be 6 as well. 6 quarries. So if we had 12 lines on one, then how many consumers are there? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. So we'd need about 21 total lines for the bricks, which seems doable. I mean, we've got some good connections here as well. It's just so much to think about. 21. It's a bit annoying because I've already set stuff up for these brick lines down here, and it's working quite well. So it means sort of scrapping that and going back to the drawing board a little bit, because we'd need a line to deliver the stuff from the quarry and a line to deliver. Oh, so that might double up actually. So we'd need 6 to take the stone to the what's the word, distribution hub, and then we need another 6 to take from the distribution hub to the factories. So that's 12 on its own. Then we'd need 6 lines to take the bricks from the factories, or the construction materials plant, as this one's pointing out, to the distribution hub, and then another 9 to distribute those out to every single city in the map, which is quite a lot. That's like 27, somewhere around there. So we'd need about 30 for just to even it out. That's quite a lot of stops. I mean, how much would that look like? So that's 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. So it would need to be, oh, giddy aunt, that's going to be huge. Oh, we can't actually do it on this side. Is there like a limit how many can be on one station? I don't actually know. I don't think I've ever done like a 20 wide station before. That's pretty nuts. Yeah, that's the maximum that can go to. So that's what, 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 12 is the maximum. You can't build further than 12. I didn't know that. Okay. So if we wanted about 30, we'd need about 3 of these stations, which kind of helps actually because you can have one station facing one way, another station facing the other, and another station facing another way. And it sort of distributes out the lines or the way they're coming in. So that's not too bad of a thing. Maybe we should do it like closer to these quarries. I don't know, like more of a central position between some of these main areas. I don't know. It's definitely food for thought because we've got 3 quarries here out of the total 6, and then 2 brick factories, and then 2. Well, we got another one over here. 3 of the main cities that need bricks. So there's one there. It's pretty. It's starting to hurt my head. I can't even. It's so much to think about. So that's definitely something I want to do later on, but right now I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. What with the 1900s technology as well, I think doing it just for the fuel and then seeing how that goes. So these have 6 on each side, so at least I know they've got a total capacity of 12. So each of these can double the capacity that they've currently got. So that's good to know going forward, because I mean we don't want to have too much be needed on one side and not be able to sustain that. How are we doing? Oh, okay, we need to put on a few stops here because the traffic's starting to build up now. We don't want to we don't want them to have trouble going up the hill. There we go. It's pretty nuts when you think about. I mean, at the moment we've just got like individual lines going to individual cities, but when you want to, I mean, really doing it right, which is with the distribution hub, because it centralizes everything, and then it means that your whole capacity can deliver to your whole supply can reach all of your demand. So there's plenty of room to grow, but it's a bit nuts. hooking it all up. I mean, we've even got this one up here. this quarry and brick line. So that's going to be fun. I definitely think that going forward, that may be how I start to plan out my routes or my lines. But for now, I think I'll just do it for fuel because it's a really big ask to incorporate everything else, especially when I've been building these up so far, to be the way they are. So I'll start with fuel, and with the mindset to improve that with time. First off, what I think I'll do is I'll separate these out so they're not dependent on each other. Tricky thing is that we've already set this all up. And these lines most out this way are all going to the same bit here, I think. Yeah, they're all going down this way. So let's just pause it so that we can put this in. So that was at 6, now it's at 8. If we did 10 on the other side, then we could do maybe one more on either side, and that would be it. That's all that this can take. Right, let's think. If we've only got one line going down here, then we could effectively separate it off over here. Ah, I can't physically build it on this side. Well, that's slightly annoying. I would have liked it to have the train line on the end, so less platforms, more train lines. But never mind. That's fine. That's not what we can do, but you know. And moving these over should free up more space for more lines, maybe? Question mark? Just having a hard time working out what line's what, so I'm going to make it a different colour. That one's green. That one's just going backwards and forwards. It's swapping over here? Why is it swapping over there? Right. So really, we want this one to be the very furthest this way that it can be. And then what else is there? Rail to East Ham. Is that this other one? Yeah, so that's the other one. So we'll have the green one go here, which is for... Oh my giddy aunt, there's so much to think about here. The green line for this factory down here. I think I'm going to separate these out. But it does mean that these are going to be more expensive lines because they're not sharing like the other ones up here. Let's move this other train out of the way. There we go, that should be good. Do I make these double slip switch so they can go? I don't think that makes sense actually. I don't think it needs it. I'll need to get rid of this. I'll need to get rid of this. There we go, way more lines. So let's swap these over. First off, I want that to go back the other way. There we go. Right, so I want the green one to go to number 8. I want this yellow one to go to number 7. And there we go, that's as easy as it is to do it. That's all set up. And then we've got these other 2 lines coming down this way, which should be set up. Yeah, I think they are. Right, this is a lot of lines and it's just getting really confusing. Which one's which? Yeah. There we go. Just trying to remove the stops that which might eventually block other lines. So there we go, that's sorted. There we go, we're setting up this second line so that we can remove this other line. This should mean that everything comes down here and goes back. Let's take it down to mediocre. Ah, they're unable to route to it, which kind of makes sense because we haven't actually put that line back in. Why can that not get on? Ah. There we go, now it works. So, this line, oh my giddy aunt, there's quite a bit. Maybe I should move one of these over, but never mind. Right, so what I'm going to have to do is remove them from this line. All right, there we go. We've separated out those lines. So now all this oil that comes from here goes back to the distribution hub, and then we bring it back out and pick up the fuel, and then deliver the fuel back to the distribution hub, which is then taken to the cities that it needs to go to. I need to keep an eye on this because this has 4 trains on it, which is a bit much just for the oil. I'm going to have to keep an eye on how profitable this line is. But they're currently taking back fuel, so I don't want to just remove them. One quite important thing is we've got Uzbek up here that needs fuel, so we can deliver fuel using this same train line. We just have to do a bridge over and then a stop here. I think we'll continue the line up because I mean we've got oil here, we've got, you know, up here needs fuel, so eventually that can carry on up. Okay, so how are we doing down here? Plastic and, well, actually plastic's doing more than steel. That's good. Which means that eventually these will start to trickle through. Goods wise, how's this line doing? It's getting there. You know, going from none to some is a good thing. This one over here, well, that's really positive. It's shifting all of what it needs. How's Oaken Gates doing? We're at 50% of what it needs, which isn't too bad when you consider it needs about 200. So that's pretty good. Cool. Well, I think we're going to leave it there. It's been an interesting episode, thinking about the future, thinking about how the region's going to look in time. For now, we've split this up, and we've started to consider what our next steps will be. I really like this, like I've been saying, I like this distribution network, and I want to include what the other elements of fuel that we have around here. So hooking up all of the oil wells, all of the oil refineries, and all of the fuel refineries, and then eventually all the plastic plants as well. And that should be pretty good for it. You know, we're going to be delivering fuel from this hub going forward. I think is probably the best way to do it. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been good to get back to Moratania, and if you've enjoyed, maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss the next episode. And yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great Easter. Cheers.